Hello everyone and welcome back to this channel. Today I will show you how to fly an ILS approach with a Boeing 737. I am myself a type-rated Boeing 757-767 pilot and I currently fly the 757. This video is to show you how you can fly an ILS in a 737 in a simulator. This is not for any real world training use, but have fun and enjoy. Welcome to the flight deck of the 737-800, and we are here in Fort Lauderdale. We're on a extended downwind, and I'm going to show you how you set up an ILS approach. We will be flying the ILS runway 28 right in Fort Lauderdale, and I will talk you through the whole setup. I will reduce the speed here because we are going into the wrong direction. So let's put speed to 220, and the first thing you want to do, we are coming here onto the FMC, go to the route, and we see ILS 28, runway 28 right, missed approach, and the missed approach point. They are already set. Then we would check the legs page. This database is out of date, so not all waypoints are exactly how they would be today, but I can see on my chart Snape, which is the final descent point, final approach point, sorry for that, and we should be at 2,000 feet, and that is corresponding to my chart, so that is good. Before Snape we have Jumar at 2,500. Yeah, on the new database this waypoint doesn't exist anymore. So we are at 6,000 feet and we want to get down to 2,500, so I will set 2,500 in here, flight level change, so MCP speed, retard, arm, so we're descending 220 knots, 2,500 feet, and I'm just going to make some turns here so we can come back to the ILS later, and meanwhile we're going to set it up. So Snape, which is our final approach point, is in the box. Then runway 28 right for the missed approach. Missed approach would be at minimum 800 feet, which is indicated on the FMC, 800 and above. Then intercept radial 305 to Huckhook and hold. Let's check. The holding should be in here. Huckhook, exactly. Holding at Huckhook 125 and 305 inbound with right hand turns. That is corresponding to my chart, so that is all checked. That is the first thing we need to do when we set up for an ILS or any kind of approach. Next thing is we check the progress page, and it's telling us that we arrive with 3.1 tons in Fort Lauderdale. This number most likely is not accurate since we are on vectors and the airplane doesn't really know where we're going. So currently this is our gross weight, 65.3, and I'm just assuming for now that we will burn roughly another 300 kilos. So let's put 65 in here, and we're planning with a flaps 30 landing, so we will paste and set the speeds in here. Flaps 30 speed is 148 plus 5 knots wind correction. And let me turn back. Oops, wrong direction. Come on. Alright, so we got the speed sets. We can also see the ILS frequency 110, so 1110.7. Same I have on my chart. We have to set this one up here. So we need ILS for this, and then 11070, and we switch it to active, the same over here. So mode ILS 1110.70. Put it to active. All right. This is all set. Okay, so we got the frequency, got the speed. We have to set the final approach course, also indicated here, 277. And the chart says 276. So we're gonna take 277 since this is in accordance to the old database, which we have in here in X-Plane. So 277, and we can see MCP speed, alt acquire. So we're leveling off at 2500. And I'm gonna set 277 on both sides. So this is our final approach course. So now we have set it on both sides. And then you would take the auto brakes. You would calculate this using a Boeing performance app. But auto brakes 3 should do the job tonight. And yeah, so we got the brakes. We have to set the minima. I will just fly inbound Jumar. So I will take Jumar, put it up here, execute it. And we can go into LNAV. And you can see I have drawn a green ring on the fixed page. It is indicating 25 nautical miles, which is corresponding to the MSA, minimum safe altitude, or sector altitude, which is 2100 feet. So we are currently 400 feet above that. So we are safe. We are over the ocean anyway. So there are not many obstacles. Okay, minimums, I have 260. So I will come here to the minimums. And this is radio, this is wrong. We don't need radio for a Cat 1. So now we see Barrow here, the green number, and we're gonna twist this one up to 260. This is really important in case the visibility is bad. This is the point where you have to decide if you have to fly a go around or can continue the approach. If you don't have any visual contact at 260 feet, you would have to hit the go-around switches and fly a go-around. Okay, now we got the minimums and everything's set. So we got the minimums, we got the speeds, we got the auto brakes, and the FMC is set. All looking good. Now we can think about slowing down and how we want to fly the approach. So approach begins, like I said, at Snape, 7.5 miles. At 7.5 miles, I want to be at least flaps 5, around 180 knots. And then I will further configure with gear down, flaps 15, so we can be stable around 1,000 feet. In our full configuration, flaps 30, with a speed of 153 knots exactly. We check the fuel. We have roughly 4 tons in the fuel tanks. That gives us more than 1 hour in this aircraft. What we can see here on the primary flight display, India uniform Delta Lima /277 degrees. This is the ILS identifier and our final approach course. Below that we can see the DME readings. So this is our distance, 17.2 miles from the runway, and also indicated here in white with the ILS. So this helps with identifying that we have the correct ILS frequency tuned. You could also do it old school and listen to the ILS identifier, which so this is nav. Probably when you hit this, you should be able to hear the ILS Morse code. Doesn't seem to work. Oh yeah, I guess you can hear it if you really listen closely. Okay, enough of that. And we're coming close, so we will arm the localizer, and the localizer is already captured. You can see this magenta diamond This is the localizer, and this is the glide slope we yet have to intercept. So we can arm approach mode. We can set our heading to 277, and I will start to slow us down. So flaps 1. And we monitor that the flaps are extending, and then I can turn the speed down. So we can see here in white, glide slope is armed, meaning as soon as this glide slope will move towards the center, it will capture it and we will descend on the glide slope. Can actually switch this off. And now we monitor our display. So we have almost 10 miles to go to the runway. And a snape, our final approach point, and 1.8 miles. So I can go and set flaps 5. Flaps 5 are driving out. Put the speed to the flap 5 speed. That is the slowest we can go with flaps 5. And the glide slope is captured. I can set the missed approach altitude to 4,000 feet. So missed approach altitude 4,000 feet is set. Also, you can see it here in magenta. And we're coming in on 7.5 miles. Let's drop the gear. Flaps 15. Flaps 15. And they're moving, and we can adjust our speed to the flap 15 speed. Arm our speed brakes. Oops. They should be armed. Speed brake armed. Perfect. 6 miles. 1,600 feet. So we have a little bit of time until we have to reach our stable gate at 1,000 feet, since Fort Lauderdale is at sea level. So we can go flaps 30. And we can adjust to our final approach speed, which is 153. There we go, flaps 30. And let's do the approach check, landing checklist. So start switches, continuous. And if we're clear to land, we would put the lights on. Start switches continuous. Recall is checked. Yeah, 1,000, we are stable. Speed brakes armed and green light. Landing data 148, power 260. Auto brakes set 3. Flaps 30, green light. And landing lights on. Landing checklist complete. We are on speed. We're on the glide slope, on the localizer. And visual to the runway. We see 2 whites, 2 reds, also indicating that we are on glide. And some airports, the poppies, that's what those lights are called, they do not display the same descent angle, glide path as the glide slope. So there will be a note on the chart telling you to not focus on the poppies. All right. Manual flight.
300.
And it's not shutting up.
200.
Come a little bit low.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brake up. Reversers normal. Manual braking. Checked. And that is how
80
you
knots.
fly an ILS approach. Over the threshold. Pitching slightly up. And floating. There's touchdown. Put the nose down. Reversers. And we made it to the runway. There we go. Thank you everyone for watching, and tell me in the comments what you want to see next. Subscribe and hit like.